Hero Moms. I'm Kelly Moran, Hero Mom Master Coach and Certified High Performance Coach. And I have with me Michelle Royale Vidal, Hero Mom's Master Nutrition Coach. And we just want to let you know how proud we are of you for making this commitment to change for yourself. Whether it's change at the beginning of a new year, change before summer, or even change before the holidays. We know how scary change can be. And, really, when people get scared, it's usually because they're afraid they're going to lose something in the process, that the process is going to be hard. And let's face it, change is hard. Or that the outcome, that they might fail at it. And, my personal belief, and I know Michelle agrees with me, is you don't really fail at anything if you learn from it and you apply those learnings and you become better the next time. So we're really here to show you and help you create that roadmap to get to your goals, your destination, and conquer that fear of change so that you can achieve the goals that you want to. And today we're going to talk about meal prep and planning. It's such an integral part of what we do as Hero Moms, and it really makes things easier. But we know from experience that our clients, our Hero Moms, they feel like it's a hard process. So Michelle, can you help us understand how we can make that process easier?
Well, I know that from people that I coach and people that I talk to, sometimes it is intimidating when you think, oh, I've got to plan my own meals and I've got to prep my own meals. But I always remind people, as moms and as Hero Moms, we do this all the time. I mean, we're already planning our family's food. Even if you're going out to eat, you have some kind of a plan. On Fridays, you don't cook, whatever it happens to be. You're the one doing the shopping. You're the one in control. And this is just kind of bringing it together in a more unified formula so that you can make better choices. So we're going to go through and walk you through the process. And I'm going to give you some tips and some really valid reasons, I think, that will make meal planning and meal prepping your favorite tool to have in your arsenal.
And you don't really have to love cooking to be able to make it simple and easy for yourself and your family, right?
No, you don't have to. I mean, yesterday I did my own meal prep and I grilled some chicken, I boiled some eggs, I ground some coffee, I chopped some veggies. It's not hard. You don't have to, I mean, you can, if you want to make elaborate meals, you can totally do that. But when you're first getting started, we make it super simple for you. And I'm going to recommend that you go with easier meals throughout the week so that it's not complicated. And that so that your meal prep goes easy. And then more importantly, your nightly meals or your daily meals become super easy. And, you don't even have to worry about it.
Right. And it may seem like it's time consuming and difficult the first time you do it, but remember, nobody's expert the first time they do anything. So the more you do this, the more you apply some of these tips and tricks that Michelle is going to share, the easier it becomes, the more of a habit it becomes. And then you're ready and set and you have your roadmap for the week.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to make it hard, and it doesn't have to be complicated. I think that once you get used to doing it, and it only take a couple weeks for this, it'll become something where you develop your own little tips and tricks, and you'll have a system down that will go from taking a couple hours on a Sunday night to do your meal prep down to only, less than 2 hours. Yesterday, I spent less than 2 hours in the kitchen, and I'm ready to go for the rest of the week.
That's awesome. So we have a PDF with this video. And Michelle, how do you put together with those food groups that we have and the shopping list and the meal prep? How do you go about doing that and tips for people to be able to do it in an easy and quick fashion?
Well, the first thing you're going to want to do, and Kelly's right, we do have these in PDF. I printed them out. So the one you want to look at first is your meal plan, okay? Because you can't start prepping or do your shopping until you decide what you want to eat. So on here, we've given you the days for the program. All right, so once you've got your list in front of you, you've got your healthy fats, your proteins, and your carbs, you're just going to go through on your meal planner and write down for each meal of each day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what you want to eat for proteins, carbs, and fats. Okay, it's super simple. So all you're going to do is say, for example, on proteins, I like beef, I don't like fish. There you go. Or I like all of it, I want to have variety. Or I want to make it easier, I'm going to make just 2 choices for protein. It's completely up to you and completely up to your skill set and what you're comfortable with. For me, yesterday I made about 5 pounds of grilled chicken, and that's what my husband and I eat for lunch. I actually made enough for 2 weeks. So I grilled it and put some in the freezer, and it's already portioned out for us. It makes it super simple. I do have an easy husband. He doesn't complain if he gets the same thing for lunch. That makes it easier. If you have a picky family, you might have to give some other choices. But for example, like with his chicken, I give him a salad every day for lunch. So he's got his carbs, which they're healthy carbs because they're vegetables. He's got his protein, which is the grilled chicken. And what I'll do is I'll kind of switch up the other vegetables. So like some days I might give him kind of an Asian inspired dressing. So his salad might have cucumbers and jicama and things that would go along with that. Another day it might be an Italian style, like a olive oil and vinaigrette. So he might get a couple little tomatoes, cucumbers, like the whole thing. I try to make it more interesting with the things that are easier to prep. So you've got the hard part out of the way, you've got all your vegetables cut up, and you've got your protein prepared. You can make the meals interesting and make them different by some of the spices you might add, dressing, or by just preparing it in a different way. So for us, that's what works.
Michelle, I have a question.
Yeah.
What are your go-to spices that you like to have? I know I'm not huge experimental, but I know that when you tell me something's good, I try it. So
Right.
What are your go-to spices?
So for what I did yesterday, like I made the chicken super plain. I just used avocado oil, salt, and pepper because I know that's going to bring out the chicken flavor. I didn't necessarily want to make a bunch of chicken that was a certain flavor. But I also prepared some chicken kebabs that are like a really Middle Eastern flavor. And they've got like 3 different kinds of chilies, cumin, coriander seed, garlic. And that's something for me because I want my food to be a little more exciting. Normal go-tos for me, I'm a spice girl. I love anything spicy. So all of the chilies, chili powder. I love chipotle powder. It gives so much flavor. Anything jalapeno. Of course, I love my garlic. I mean, these are all things that that are easy to add, and most people have them in their kitchen. If you're going to use a ton of garlic, you do have to kind of have to count that as a carb if you use a whole lot of it. But for what we're doing right now, don't worry about that. Just use the spices that you like. I want to say this. Read your spice bottles, okay? If you have mixes, they might say like steak seasoning or Italian seasoning. Be super careful because a lot of times those things will have MSG. They also might have sugar. A lot of these spice combinations can have sugar in them. So make sure if you have something that might be questionable, if it doesn't just say oregano, if it's some kind of mix, make sure you read what it says and that you're comfortable with the ingredients. For my thinking, if I don't know what something means, if it's some gobbledygook scientific name, that goes in the trash because that's some kind of chemical. If it has anything that's looks like sugar, it goes in the trash. Usually if it has any additional salt, because I'm super picky about my salt too, or MSG, goes in the trash. You don't want to use anything that's going to counter what we're trying to do with the program. Because in this program, you're going to be eating lots of anti-inflammatory foods, and you're going to see your inflammation go down. And those things that you think are benign because it's a little tiny spice shaker, those things can really counter all your other efforts. So be careful about that. I only like organic spices. I tend to buy them on Amazon. They're not any more expensive now than regular spices. So as you run out of your favorites, I would encourage you to start buying organic. But really, it's up to you, whatever your family's comfortable with. I like to be a little more adventurous. If you're not, then go use salt and pepper. I mean, good salt, pink Himalayan salt with freshly ground pepper can be an amazing flavor and super simple, because you're really bringing out the flavors of whatever protein you're cooking. So I think that was a convoluted answer, Kelly, but
I think that's awesome. Spices. We love to taste food. I think, people use food for a lot of different reasons. But people love to taste it. They want rich tasting foods. And, I know that a lot of ways to do that. Right. There's a lot of different spices.
Well, one thing I think super exciting is that once you start eating clean and you kind of get rid of all the expectations for those fake flavors, the stuff that you get in the fast food or the stuff that comes in a box, they have additives and preservatives and chemicals, and our body does become used to those flavors. But once you start eating clean, I swear, I remember when I first started, and I remember eating a mango, and it was like I had never eaten a mango before. I mean, your taste buds really will come alive, and you will begin to appreciate all of the flavors of those beautiful natural foods. Like, I can eat a salad now with just salt and pepper and maybe a tiny drizzle of olive oil.
Me too.
All of that heavy dressing, and because I'm appreciating the flavors. I mean, I put onion in it and cucumber, and it's just all the different kind of lettuces that are out there, arugula. Like, it's exciting that this is food just from the earth. It's already made delicious.
Exactly.
So once you get used to eating this way, I think that's a pretty common thing that happens, and it's exciting because you can start to use just the foods themselves. So you don't need all that other sauces and everything else. And I promise you that will happen for you too.
So when we put all this together, we have our meal plan, and we know that we want, what protein we want, what vegetable, what fat we're going to be cooking in. How do you best go about creating your shopping list efficiently, so you're not like maybe overbuying or maybe underbuying? How do you do that?
Okay, so in my family, I'm really lucky because I'm an empty nester. My son's in college, and so it's just my husband and I really just calculate how much do I need for lunches and dinners and breakfast too for this part of the program, and I just make a list. So like yesterday, the chicken I did, because it was on sale. That's another thing that's so exciting about doing the meal prep, is that you can do things based on what the sales are. So for me, in my local health food store this week, they were organic pastured chicken thighs that were on sale. I have no problem eating chicken thigh. It's got healthy fat if it comes from a healthy chicken, and it stays juicy. It's not like breast. When you prep breasts, sometimes they can dry out a little bit. So I love using thighs, and I bought a lot. So for me, I made enough that will last us for 2 weeks. If you're on a more limited budget, or maybe you're still experimenting a little, just buy what you need for the week. And it's pretty easy to calculate. Most moms know, but based on how many they're feeding, you know, how much hamburger do you need? How much chicken do you need? So that, you know, comes out pretty easy. Plus, on the proteins, we're giving you a guideline. Well, on all of the different elements, we're giving you a guideline. But definitely for the Hero Moms that are participating in the program, you've got your calculations based on your starting weight of how many ounces you're going to need of each one of these proteins. And you could be a tricky Hero Mom and go through and calculate those too for the people in your family. So it comes out really, really easy. And once you do this a couple times, it's going to be a no-brainer. It's like, okay, I need 3 ounces. I get 3 ounces, my husband gets 5, my kid gets 3, whatever it is, it'll become a no-brainer, and you can calculate really easy how to make your shopping list, how much of each item you're going to need. And that goes true for your fats and for your carbs as well. So we've laid it out for you as far as serving sizes go. It's super easy to calculate what you need based on what you want to make for the week.
That's awesome. And I think this has given everyone a great starting point to launch into their change. And we would love to see what you put together as a meal plan, a shopping list. Please join us in Hero Mom Nation and show us and others so we can support you in your journey. And if you get into Hero Mom Nation, if you join us there, Michelle is the creator of hundreds of fantastic recipes in our cookbooks. You can get access to those as well. So we would love to have you join us there and share your tips and tricks with us today.